The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Okay, welcome to this Earnestly podcast. I'm host Ernest, EJ Christian, coming to you still lockdown quarantine here in South Florida on, what is today, May 15th, 2020 on the line. He's back. The man, the student of the game, Kyle effing Nash. It's been too fucking long. What's up, buddy?
Well, first of all, we had a discussion off air about whose fault it is, and here's a hint to all the viewers. It's not mine, and there's two people on this show. Second, hey, you're healthy and all, right? Everything's good?
Yeah, well, I'm fine. It's been one of those things. I mean, he has his good days and bad days, of course, but I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I'm not. I feel guilty for saying this. I'm not necessarily hating this. Like, I want to go back to work, obviously. I want to go to commerce and all that, but I'm not necessarily hating this either.
Listen, that's called silver lining, okay? Like, the only person who should be dissed for silver lining, is Judas for taking 50 pieces of silver to betray Jesus. Other than that, what? At me, what?
So okay, because it's really is messed up that we've gone 9 weeks this pandemic, and only now I got you on the podcast. You know, it's kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You got the great Mark Francois on before I did. You've talked to Rosalind Ross more than once, and
actually, no, that's not true. That's inaccurate because we did our first pod together since February as well last week.
No, you sure you didn't have the shiz somewhere in there as one?
No, this last week. That's it.
The point is, you have a successful, young, talented actress /performer on before me. I mean. Listen, when it comes to her, I know I'm chopped liver. I mean, I understand why EJ Christian has G Stelio on that show. You're using the ugly Fred at the club defense. You're letting G make you look good.
No, but it was no lie though. No, they have it on the show prior to last week when we did our office rankings. They had it on the show since February 6th. We actually confirmed on the show last week.
By the way, can we have another conversation? Like, y'all need to chill on The Office. I'm not here to tell you it's a bad show, but like, just ease on back. It's not that goddamn good.
It's really that good.
But
to be fair though, Kyle, it's also new to me. I finished it from start to finish the first time recently, so it's fresh to me. It's like the hype is real for me right now. Obviously, I'll die off as time goes on, but right now.
So you're like me with DS9 last year. Hey, did you or like what was it like? 4 or 5 years ago, where like it's still the 2010s, and I'm making Wire references to The Wire because I finally finished the series, and
yeah, would you believe?
So I get it.
I still haven't finished that show yet.
Which show?
The Wire.
Like, so
that's a me problem, obviously, but
yeah, like I mean, I feel like I have enough clearance to say this.
Yeah.
But the community of which you are a member. Culturally,
of course,
they're gonna take your card away from you if they find that out. I'm gonna need you to know.
We have old acquaintances and friends of mine that when I started doing the media thing back in 2011, 2012, a lot of the arguments we had way then was The Wire, and they had watched The Wire way back when, and I hadn't finished, and I kept saying I'll finish at some point. It's now fucking 8 years, and I still haven't finished the damn show yet. So it's on me.
And it's a great show. Like
I know it is.
It's like you have Scarlett Johansson. She's like, "Hey, I'll do you," and like you're like, "Okay, I'll get to it." No,
take your business. Well, it gets worse, Kyle. It gets worse. I still haven't finished The Sopranos either.
I never got to The Sopranos.
Really? Why am I surprised?
But I can tell you why. Because that was on before DVR was really a thing.
Right.
And I worked on Sunday nights on the door shift. So my shift would start at 10. That show would start at 10 on HBO.
Oh, you do graveyards?
I did.
Oof. I mean, I know the feeling. Maybe I've done it before. It's just, it's tough.
Try having class at 8 or 9 a.m. the next morning, bitch. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, God. Ugh. That's a kick in the butt.
I wouldn't know. but I'm sure you. Anyway.
Either way. Yeah. But you've been busy though. Despite this pandemic, you've been pretty busy. You've been doing stuff with our good friend Dane Thompson. Doing some podcasts and whatnot on there.
Yeah, that's somebody else you got to pod with before me. After.
No, I haven't pod with him either.
Yeah, you did.
When did I pod with him?
Yes, you did, Brett.
When did I pod
yes,
with him?
you did. You had a pod with him, and nobody else likes pretending you didn't have a pod except Mrs. Wallace. Anyways, you told.
No, I've podcasted with him since last year, or early this year, should I say?
Well, no, yeah, early this year, after you podded with me last.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of regulars I've been podcasting with in a while. Last time I podded with Danny Thompson was in February. What did we say that's week?
Exactly.
Damn, this is bad. Ooh.
So, like I said,
February. Yeah.
I'm just saying, and I'm mad. Danny Thompson's quality basketball content. I'm sure you took some notes, just like when you're talking with me about basketball.
Yeah, February 7th. Actually, I podcasted him after you podcasted with you. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Get it?
No, Danny Thompson and I are not on speaking terms. Him and I have been fighting the last couple of weeks because of Isaiah Thomas takes.
Oh, that's okay.
We're not having that, dude. We're not gonna have. I refuse to have him slandering my internet. Sorry.
Hey, listen, and you and D Will were getting into it about who the hell was it? Oh yeah,
Duncan.
Worst
take ever.
I never heard somebody diss the fundamental like that. I was kind of shocked. I didn't know.
Just because it's not flashy, it's not top 10. Stop it. D Will, you're better than that.
I don't think he said that, but
No, I'm assuming that. I'll have him state his case one day. We'll have a podcast with him probably down the road.
I don't know, man. I hope he hears this because I want the record to show. I don't think lack of flash was his actual diss, but okay.
He said that coaching, he had the advantage of coaching and structure, but San Antonio didn't do dick until he got there. And a lot of that structure that you're saying that he had, he was the foundation of that. So why would you diss him when he's the actual reason they were the structure as they were for the preceding 20 years after that?
I mean, it's not like David Robinson was a bum either.
It wasn't a bum, but he didn't get to conference final without Tim Duncan.
Oh, okay. I know. I'm saying they couldn't do anything without Pop getting there. And I mean, listen. Don't try and tell me that Tim Duncan wouldn't have good numbers elsewhere. He may not have as many rings, but that's a whole other question. I mean, people who use rings for argument comparisons are doing it wrong. People who want to talk about finals appearances determining who's better is doing it wrong. And yes, I'm speaking both specifically to MJ GOAT people, which I am one, and the Bron sexuals of the world who think LeBron's the best of all time. And granted, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think it's MJ, but if you think it's Bron, that's cool too. But what drives me nuts are some of ththese horrible arguments. I think you read the piece I wrote a couple years back. Now I can't get to it.
We actually had a discussion in this podcast about that because you talked the piece about it, and we discussed it a little bit in detail about the arguments more the issues more than the actual hot take.
Well, neither of those takes are hot. That's my point. You want a hot take, say something stupid like, Tim Duncan's not top 10 or, Jay Cutler's the best quarterback of all time. Tom Brady's better than Joe Montana. Really stupid things. Anyways.
Ouch.
You notice how you got your turn too?
Yeah.
I miss you, Jay. Anyway.
God, I miss you, man. Speaking of basketball, have you been watching The Last Dance?
I have not been because I refuse to pay for ESPN and the shenanigans that they do. I have cut the cord, so thus it is difficult for me to get to it. However, I have been following. I'm going to say the overall net positive of The Last Dance being a thing, as much as, and it's ironic, I'm complaining about bad arguments I'm seeing on Facebook, yet nonetheless, I feel like the arguments are smarter than they were this time, let's say 2 or 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Before Braun went to L.A.,
Right.
So, but I mean, let me ask you this, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
For people who are pro Braun the GOAT, which again, not necessarily a bad stance, if you have to work this hard to bring down Michael Jordan to make your man look good, is he really better?
That's true. And it's the same thing I said on the other side of the argument with Jordan. You know, if you're a Jordan guy and you're confident in your belief of Jordan being the GOAT, why do you have to go out of your way to knock down other people just to make your point? Like the point that Jordan has, Jordan's accomplishments should stand on its own. Period. Which in my opinion does. Like you're actually doing him a disservice by doing the extra mile of arguing. Like shut up.
It's not just accomplishment. Like, for those people out there who want to say that MJ was nothing but a very athletic slasher, listen, he's not Russell Westbrook, okay? He's not Jason Kidd, who spent a portion of his early career being known as Asen Kidd because he had no J. Right. I was watching something the other day where George Karl of the obviously of the Sonics coaching them just before they were about to battle them in the finals, right before Jordan beat the Knicks again. He said something in the press about MJ, relying too much on his jump shot. At which point, I think he proceeded to put up like 60 or something stupid like that. I forget the exact point number in game one, but like all shooting jump shots basically. So, I'll put it this way, EJ Christian. If Michael Jordan played in this soft-ass era where chucking it from the cheap seats is the way of life, you got to bet that ass that he and Steph Curry would have looked very similar. Now, I'm not here to tell you he would shoot better than Steph Curry. I'm not that guy. But I am telling you that MJ would continue to be a more versatile player. He wouldn't be a player that shies away in the fourth quarter and is a choke artist like Steph Curry is and other people want to accuse LeBron James of being when he's not.
Yep, you did say it.
And no one else is, honestly. That's the one that ticks me off. But, like, I got people out there. I was just on a show today with my man Chris Pirtle with the Sports Junkies. And both these cats, it was me, a guy named Todd, I forget his name and his affiliation. He's from Atlanta, sorry. Both of them were trying to tell me that Steph Curry is number 2 on their respective lists of point guard over Isaiah Thomas. Get the entire hell
I'm going to be
out.
honest with you. I think I'm about to be there now with that, too, also. And I am the biggest Isaiah Thomas fan on the planet. I think Curry has the ring count number 1, and I might say that's even the reason why, but the Curry impact now, it's now, to me, it's like this. When you have a peak like he has for the last, 5 or 6 years now, you have to start questioning that, whether or not that's the number 2. Like, I think Isaac's number 2, obviously, but I think it's either even or Steph is probably past him at this point now.
Stop it.
And I love Zeke, you know that.
Okay, so the guy can chuck 500 threes. He does not have the skill or the versatility of other point guards. A truly great point guard can do everything, okay? Not just score and chuck up stuff.
Oh, no, he's a good passer, too. He's a good passer.
Okay, great.
I think if there's one argument you can put against Curry and against Isaiah in the argument is probably defensively, but
A, B, supporting staff. Your next best guy was Joe Dumars, who ain't bad.
Hall of Famer.
Sorry?
He's in the Hall.
He's in the Hall, right, okay. And Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant will be 2 probably, right?
Oh, but I'm not even using Durant. I'm not even. I'm taking away the Durant years. I'm not even using the Durant years as the argument. I'm taking away the Durant years because you can argue Curry's best years were before Durant even got there.
Okay.
I don't know. I get you saying. Look, you know me. Isaiah Thomas is my third favorite player of all time, behind Magic and Charles. That's simple.
Wait. Let me stop you. You're a Barkley man?
Oh, goddamn. Oh, hell yeah. Number 2 behind Magic.
Why the fuck is that not the lead, bro? Get in here and hug it out.
You too, huh? Nice.
Okay.
No, my 3 favorite players in NBA history is Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, and Isaiah Thomas. My top 3.
So, you do realize that my first jersey that I ever owned wasn't even a football jersey, by the way. It was basketball.
It was a Phoenix or Philly?
It was Phoenix.
Okay.
And it was definitely Sir Charles.
I was just watching, actually, the 9-3 finals, game 1, between Phoenix in Chicago.
That game's
on YouTube.
Off. We're like, anyways, I'll leave that alone. But no, listen. If for bonus points, what member from that same squad did Kyle also own a jersey of?
Dan Marley?
Dan Marley from Dream Team 2. Damn Skippy.
And then after that Dream Team 2, Dan Marley, he went to where? The Miami Heat. That's right.
Right. Still chucking it from the goddamn cheap
That's right.
sheet.
That's cool, man. I love Chuck, dude. I think Chuck is one of the most authentic athletes in the history of the game. Probably the most authentic athlete. He's the same guy now as he was 30 years ago.
100% real. Like, now it's a little odd if you live in the Orlando area with him throwing a dude through a plate glass window. That's still kind of a specter that's around here.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole other thing.
I remember buying his book at age 14.
Was Charles Barkley?
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. You bought that? Wait. Okay, so, like, normally I try to run cleaner language even than you on this show. Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'll tell you right now, because I have one of his books also. I have one of his recent books, actually, too. But my first book I bought of his, I'll tell you right now, because I want to get the title correct.
No, I'm still not past you own the wit and wisdom of Charles Barkley. I thought I was the only dude that owned
No, not that one. Not that one. I own. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. That one I do own. But there's another book that he did back in 93, 94 that I bought. I'm trying to find the name of it. I'll find it later. Because I want to tell you what it is. It was a paperback too. I loved it. I read like 3 times. It's great.
And I'll say this: the only reason why Charles Barkley would not have lasted in this league isn't because of his play. Dude could pop threes if you left him the opportunity, and he'd make you pay for it in other ways.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he would get teched out of the league all the time.
Absolutely.
And you thought Rasheed Wallace got thrown out of a lot of games, son? Let me tell you, this era, holy shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like, Green ain't got shit. Okay.
No, Draymond. Yeah. Hell no, dude. It broke my heart. It broke my heart that Jordan beat him. In '93.
Yeah.
Because it was then. That was when I said Jordan's the GOAT. When he beat him. Because that 3 weeks, I said in this podcast with my friend of mine a couple episodes back, that those 3 weeks between Game 3 of the Conference Finals against New York and our entire NBA Finals, those 3 weeks were Michael Jordan's absolute peak was powers. His absolute best of his career. Those 3 weeks.
I can agree with that.
So dominant, but burnt out too.
Sure.
What?
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Absolutely right. Sure.
Okay, let's get to the NFL talk. I haven't talked NFL in quite a while on the show. Actually, maybe a little bit with somebody else a couple weeks back, but nothing over the top. But reaction: Tom Brady. It's obviously old news now. I mean, we're doing this now in the middle of May. This happened back in March. Tom Brady to Tampa Bay. Reaction. I need yours.
So I was pretty damn sure he was leaving. I think you and I both said there was no real huge surprise that if he would leave. But Tampa, get the hell out of here, bro.
Sucked.
I don't know about sucks, but I certainly didn't expect it. But by the same token, like, I think the one who's worded it best, as he does many times and gets no credit from people like you who claim to know things and then don't, I think Colin Cowherd is spot on with this one. We're like, this is the cushy retirement job. You bust your butt at whatever job until you get old, and then you make sweet, soft money as a contractor to finish out your career in its twilight. I think it's amazing. But the thing that I was more surprised that he got Gronk out of retirement than Brady moving from New England. But going to Tampa, did not see it coming. But, hey, give the franchise credit. Their draft was 100% grade A from me.
Oh, wow. Okay. And I'm going to ask you about that in a couple minutes about the winners losers of the draft. But, I mean, to me, like, okay, so they go 7-9 last year with the most inconsistent one-season quarterback in history of football in James Winston.
Even than Brett Favre, I would dare say.
Well, I'm saying lead the league in touchdowns and interceptions. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Well, Favre has come close to doing that too, but I don't think Favre ever had 30 in a season. I could be wrong.
But Jameis, you win 7 games with that guy quarterback. Even with Tom Brady at 43 years old, in a 1-year sample, can he get you 2-3 more with that roster?
So let's dial back a little bit. He's not getting another Super Bowl. I think the main reason why at this point he's locked as to get a playoff spot is because they've expanded it to 7 each side, which is completely stupid, by the way.
Does that go into effect this year or next year? I thought it was this year. Then I saw myself it was next year, but
I'm pretty sure it's this year. But I'd have to double check.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. But that all being said, let's not be stupid here. Let's get a couple things out of the way, right? The Pats won, what was it, 11 games last year?
This past year, 12.
12. Excuse me. Thank you. I should have known that. They won 12 games in 2019. The 4 times that the defense couldn't hold the opponents under 17 points, defense goes to Tom, listen, man, you're playing Patrick Mahomes, or we're just not able to keep that point total under 17 this time, man. Sorry. Most NFL teams, if the opponent's under 20 points, you can win. That's usually how that works according to the numbers. We can't do it this week. You're the alleged GOAT, according to what people like E.J. Christian, who are completely uneducated on football, say. Save us. And those 4 times that happened, E.J. Christian, the alleged GOAT couldn't do it. So, I say all that to say, there's a trade-off factor here with Tom Brady. And listen, don't get it twisted. I talk smack on you. Brady is great. Brady's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you he's not. But what I will tell you is, I don't think he gets the same number of touchdowns and the same amount of yardage as Jameis does. But if you've looked carefully at the Bucs draft and who they've picked up, he may not have to.
Interesting point. Does Gronk help? Gronk has to help. I mean, even missing football for a year, I mean, should help him out, right? O.J. Howard's there, too, on top of that. I mean.
Let me tell you why Gronk's a bigger deal, and it's got nothing to do with the pass game. It's 100% him being the best blocking tight end still playing in the NFL, right? Now, granted, he's not going to get a full production worth of downs and all that stuff.
Right.
That'll be fine. But the pool man, as I've come to call him, Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa, the offensive lineman who jumped out of a standing 3 feet of water out of a swimming pool onto the deck. Holy God. Listen, man, you want to bolster a run game? You get that beast in there, too. Now, they did happen to draft a running back. I believe it was Keyshawn Vaughn's his name out of Vanderbilt.
Okay.
But even with the guys they have now, as much as they've underperformed and disappointed, you got those guys in front of you on a side, damage will be done, especially when teams are going to be watching the pass first because of one Thomas Edward Bieber Brady.
That said, let's flip it to the others. Well, let me ask you a question about Tampa. Last question about Tampa. So you think with the 17? Well, let's assume it's not 17 this year for the playoffs. Real quick. Are they a playoff team still?
I had him at 500. This is literally the toughest schedule Tom Brady's ever faced under center in terms of strength of schedule percentage or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. He never had a schedule this difficult as a New England Patriot. It hasn't happened. Now, no one's shocked by that if you know it. We've had the conversation, too, about how easy Brady's schedules have been, and I've had my very good friend Shaq Krosky try to brush it away like, well, it's not the Patriots' fault. Yeah, but it's still a factor, you hippie. You know.
You hippie. So basically that 7th spot means a lot. That 7th spot will be huge. If it's in play this year, then Tampa's definitely in your opinion.
I mean, you're big into politics, so it's not just huge; it's huge.
Huge. Terrific jib. By the way, so flip it to the Patriots real quick, because obviously, you know, this is going to be. I don't know what we're discussing Bill Belichick's legacy. It's not going to change anything. But let me ask you one question about Bill Belichick real quick and the Patriots. Do they, with their current roster as is, will they win at least 8 games this year?
Sure. That's tough, isn't it? It's hard for me to answer that question. I can't outright say no. My instincts, if this were gun to the head, if I was still doing the Student of the Game podcast and we were on that final Monday before Thursday kickoff, I would say yes. But 8 would be the cap, right? Now, granted, I haven't done my full research or schedule breakdowns yet. I don't usually do that till closer to training camp, so injuries can happen and everything, and we can actually know where a team stands, okay? But I can't rule it out at this point, can you? I mean, A, Bill effing Belichick, right? B, people who were injured are starting to get back into the fold. C, a lot of these the team that was there wasn't necessarily bad as much as they were young, right? It's not like the Patriots were completely inept. The Patriots just had problems keeping players on the field, you know. And the defense was still stellar. Can we talk about that? Again, the stat is if you score less than 20 points in an NFL football game, you are going to lose more games than you win. Versus vice, you hold your opponent to beneath that. I mean, you're good, right?
Right.
But if they have Patrick Mahomes on the schedule, loss. Okay. I'm willing to bet. I don't know if it's true. I'd have to check, EJ Christian. I don't think so because we would have already heard the hype of a Belichick Brady rematch when the schedule was released.
No,
But
I don't think they're playing this year.
yeah, they're not. But let's say the Patriots were playing the NFC South. That's wall-to-wall losses. They might beat Carolina simply because of everything they lost. But I think they would have the potential to go 0-4 or 1-3 like they did one year when your boy Russell Chamomile Wilson.
That's right, Chamomile
went on to go to the Super Bowl and win that year, if I remember correctly. And the only team that the Patriots beat last year in the NFC West was, in fact, the Rams. The Seahawks beat them, the Cardinals beat them, and Colin Kaepernick, pre-Notorious era, beat them as well. In a shootout, no doubt.
No, I will say this much. I think they will flirt with 6-8 wins because
Yes.
I do think that while we all expect Buffalo to be better this year, as they've been a playoff team the last 3 years, no one's necessarily running away that division. No one's dominant yet. Buffalo's good. Miami's getting better. The Jets are improving, but no one's dominant there yet. So I think all four of those teams can still make a case to flirt with the top of the division.
You are completely underestimating the upgrades made in Buffalo, my friend. Like, Stephon Diggs is quietest A-list move that's there. And Gabe Davis, the kid they drafted 4th round at a UCF, listen, I've seen this kid. He's tall. He catches things at the point of contact. I'm not trying to tell you he's a good feature receiver in the NFL, although he does have some good combine numbers, but that ain't it. Gabe Davis is a good route runner, and he's a good guy to catch the ball high up top. He's bigger than he looks. Every time I talk to this kid, like, man, you chest wider than I think it is when you play. I don't say that to him, but my mind goes through that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be kind of like Traquan Smith across from Michael Thomas in New Orleans, right? We're talking another UCF grad who's another big, sizable receiver to complement an all-around awesome receiver like Stephon Diggs is. And, let's put it this way. The Vikings numbers should have fallen off huge in the passing game with Kirk Cousins as a quarterback and Adam Thielen hurt. Stephon Diggs instead went about having his first 1,000-yard season. I think he got over 1,100 for the record.
Okay.
And now he's trying to get that number one DAP money. I think he had the most touchdowns over 20 yards last year too. Just an amazing. If you look at yards per play for him, it's amazing.
He's a home run hitter. Yeah.
He's not just that. He can do more than just hit home runs too, man. So it's all that. You got the running game there with Devin Singletary. Don't forget about this guy. And Josh Allen, another year smarter, and they improved their own.
And as I said, the Josh Allen part is the one I'm really, I'm rooting for the kid, obviously. I see the tools. He has the tools to be great. Really. Not as good, but great. But is this the year he puts it all together? We shall see.
Well, let's put it this way, too. Please make it fair, Ernest Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Watson, back when he still had one DeAndre Hopkins, was the reason why the Bills didn't advance. It was overtime. DeAndre Hopkins, a blitz comes in, they send in 2, okay? One of them hits Watson, and he's on his way down, and the other guy tries to hit him as well and knocks him back on balance, and he proceeds to run for a long gain to get the first down. If that second guy doesn't hit Watson and he falls to the ground and they're down there and they have to punt, Ernest Christian, the Bills win that football game.
Probably right, yeah. Yeah. So, okay. We just had a draft a couple weeks ago. Give me your personal winners and losers of the draft.
I mean, for me, winners go, listen, the Arizona Cardinals suddenly made themselves contenders despite the fact that they are in the toughest division in football.
Contenders?
contenders for the division. I'm not trying to tell you you're going to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Eat back, Ernest Christian.
That's still a lot. That's still a lot, though. Even with that.
You're damn right it's a lot. And they did a lot in the draft. And they've upgraded. I mean, like, we'll just start with DeAndre Hopkins and Larry Fitzgerald are in the same goddamn receiver core, for one. Do I have to say more than that?
No, you're good.
I mean, that's literally the best receiver core in the division. On a dime, they made that turn, Ernest Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you can never knock out my dude, Russell Cantankerous Wilson, okay? Which, by the way, this is even more depressing now that we found out his middle name starts with L, but whatever. And and then, listen, not for nothing, the 49ers had a good draft themselves. It wasn't an A, but it was pretty strong. And then there's the Rams, sure. But... And so I got the Cardinals as huge winners, though. I was very happy with the Bills' draft. Tampa's draft was great. I think Tampa's draft was the thing that kept Miami from having a truly awesome draft. Theirs was mediocre. I can't say that they were great. Who were some other teams I was happy with? The Giants did particularly well. The entire NFC East, in my opinion, may have quietly, as a division, had the best draft in the NFL.
Really?
I'm not saying that all of them got A's, but as a division, like, no one did bad. Now, Philly fans are whining and crying about the Eagles draft, but they can kiss my ass. The Eagles did a good job. The only reason why the NFC North doesn't run away with it is because the Packers stuff happened, But, which when we come to draft losers, it's not because of the Jordan Love pick, by the way.
Right.
But the Packers had a pretty shitty draft, in my opinion. Sure, you got Love, you get a backup quarterback. There's nothing wrong with that. And Aaron's behavior of late certainly substantiates why they felt the need that they had to get a backup, right? He's being even more deep than Favre was when he got drafted back when, right?
Right.
But
real quick, though, on the little sidebar real quick, on the whole thing with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love being drafted, is that being made a big deal?
That's a factor. I think there's a little extra big deal being made out of it because we are in pandemic mode and the sports fans and by extension the media are looking for stuff to talk about. But let's be honest, Ernest Christian. Drama seems to follow Aaron Rodgers. Like, this is not new.
Right.
Right? Whether it's his own family, whether it's former teammates, the only person I know for a fact who hasn't talked trash on him was basically Olivia Munn.
Yeah. And they broke up like 2 years ago, didn't they?
I mean, listen, if there was going to be trash talked in the press, she would have done it by now, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, what about you losers, the draft?
Well, like I said, Green Bay is among them.
Yeah.
I got to go with I got to go with the Panthers, but I'm not sure if it's their fault. Like, it wasn't just the draft that was bad, EJ Christian. They lost a lot of pieces and not just Cam, which, by the way, side note, all you people out there supporting Kaepernick is great, but why are you not making noise for Cam Newton not having a job? That's entirely too quiet, in my opinion. Need to be more people bitching about Cam Newton not having a job.
I mean, it's out there, but it's not as a big prevalence as you think it would have been.
Or as it should be.
Or it should be, right.
And I'm not even, this big, I was about to say this big flag waver for Kaepernick. That would be a bad choice of words, wouldn't it?
Yeah, pretty bad.
I'm not even this big Kaepernick advocate. I tend to agree with him having his right to protest, and I even kind of like his message. But I shouldn't say kind of. I even like his message, I should say. But
right.
I'm not over here being like, he's Joe Montana light. He should have a starting job today in the NFL. Let's not get stupid. Cam Newton should have a starting job today in the NFL. No question.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What do you make of the Dak Prescott contract dispute?
Man, listen, okay. You remember back when Drew Brees was in contract disputes with the Saints? What did we both say then? Do you remember? The 11th hour, someone will do something. They'll come up with some compromise and sign it because they ain't trying to take it into training camp on either side.
Right.
And the same thing exists, which, by the way, fans showing their true colors. Like, the one time Dak Prescott doesn't go team first and y'all turn on him like you're some sort of a rabid pit bull.
Yeah, so bad. It's so bad, dude.
You know, I mean, it's not as dumb as people saying that Geno Smith should start ahead of Eli Manning, but it's pretty bad.
Oh, those are some fun times.
By the way, side note, I heard Geno Smith has a job as a backup somewhere, and y'all are okay with letting that happen.
In Seattle, too, behind Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, because when I think mobile quarterbacks, I think Geno Smith.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you got Cam, you got Kaepernick, all those guys out there, and you pick Geno Smith. Like, this dude's still getting jobs, man. It's crazy.
You know, but no one wants to talk about that. Well, why is it they don't bring up Geno Smith as somebody who's taking Kaepernick's job? Do you know why that is?
Why?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
I have no idea. I'm shocked. I'm like dumbfounded, to be honest with you, why the Cam thing is not being made a bigger deal.
Okay.
I'm dumbfounded, honestly. I really am. Here's a good question for you. Give me percentages here too.
Yeah.
Percentage chance we see Antonio Brown in the NFL come 2020, come this fall.
15%.
Okay.
15%. The reason why it's that high is the reason why it's that low is because he hasn't had the opportunity to work out, and the reason why it's that high is because he hasn't had the opportunity to work out and then talk about and screw it up for himself.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. He's so talented, man. It just sucks how everything's happened. It sucks.
What is it? Titus Young? Who's the receiver for the Browns that had the weed stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting his name. Damn it. He was a Patriot for a bit too. Josh Gordon. There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, man. You know, cats. They just, they're not in the right headspace. I mean, listen, you and I have had the conversation about mental illness and mental issues. Do not give a fuck who you are.
Right.
It's like coronavirus does not give a damn about who you are.
Exactly. I know. It's weird with Antonio Brown. Like, I mean, it's sad, but also you want to see him get his shit together. You know what I mean? But he's talented enough to at least have his name in the news, at least to be considered. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, of course.
You know. Sure. All right, last one. Let you go. Last one. Don Shula passed away a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
I wrote a piece on my blog a couple weeks ago, and people actually agree with me on this. I've said for years, you know, especially as we go past his retirement, 25 years later, like whenever we talk about greatest coaches of all time in the NFL, especially with people under 40, like you hear the Belichicks, you hear the Lombardis, you hear the Walshes, and by the way, that should be the case because they are in the conversation as greatest of all time.
Sure.
It always felt like Don Shula's name never comes up.
I have a little different feeling on that. Like, Don Shula's name doesn't come up because it's not controversial. I kind of feel like Don Shula's name doesn't come up just because it's kind of assumed that he's in there. You know what I mean?
Wow, okay.
So, like, I see why you're taking it as a nickname, and that's okay. Like, you know, like a lot of people of a particular age group just may know him as an old guy that has Dolphins crap on the walls at his expensive-ass steakhouse.
Yeah.
4-7 was a win total, kids, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so I from my stance, and granted, I may be in the forest unable to see past the trees, you know, with some of the situations I found myself in terms of media and stuff, and talking to people at the Hall of Fame when I was there back in, what was that, 2014? Earlier. I want to say it was 2013.
Okay.
But it was probably 13. Anyways, the punchline being, like, when he came out on stage during the gold jacket ceremony where they announced, like, it was the 50th anniversary, so they had a bunch of, the place was crawling with yellow jackets. It was amazing, right? Mm-hmm. And granted, not to say that he looked great, he needed help walking onto the stage and stuff, but, like, everybody knew they were in the aura of greatness, and no one questioned that he belonged there. No one. Think of it this way. The way you know a guy has made it isn't so much that there aren't people saying, Shula should be in there, is you don't hear haters going, nah, Shula shouldn't be in there. If you hear that take, which I still haven't heard it to this day.
Right.
But if someone has that take, you're going to question them as somebody who thinks that Bill Simmons is a good podcast.
Wow. That was good.
What can I say except you're welcome?
What's funny is that I don't know if I told you. Well, I did tell you this last couple weeks ago. Now this has changed in recent weeks because it's gotten better because of the guests he's had. But I went through a nice little 2 months of not listening to Simmons' podcast.
You did tell me that. I mean, listen, the fact you listened to him at all, this is a guy who had a show on HBO, and PBS told him his ass was boring. PBS!
Yeah. You know what it is, though? Because he's doing the same fucking thing that he's on there that he's doing on his podcast. He's not bringing anything new and original. That's why.
Well, people on PBS wouldn't know about what he's done on his previous podcast. His show's fucking boring.
Yeah. I have to agree with you on that one, too.
I mean, Chris Boston is one of your guests, and like, you being a huge Boston homer have the opportunity to get electric. And I fell asleep during that show, EJ Christian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I have to agree. It was quite boring. But I mean, it got better somewhat, but by the time it got better, it was already on the way out. You know, it was like, well, whatever. There's some decent segments in there, but no, I listen to the show for the guests, for anything else.
Well, what does that tell you? You must also like Jimmy Fallon. I'm just saying.
No, not really. Not a big Fallon guy.
Okay, but you follow Simmons. See, I don't get it. They're the same thing.
Anyway. They attract the guests. That's why.
Okay, but why? Like, that's the part. You want to really solve the mystery? Tell me how guests flock to that guy so I can do it and get paid and bring people with me that are actually talented and not just my
name. He's a name. That's why he's a name. If he didn't have a name, he would be anything. He came right place, right time for him. Anyway, but yeah, the thing with Shula, real quick though, like I love your point, what you said there. It's just that you don't hear his name in the conversation enough. I is he the greatest of all time? In my opinion, no. Is he top 5, top 6? Absolutely.
It's not close.
Yeah.
Now, greatest of all time, you could even hear a strong argument for that. Like if you're one of these who supports Jordan and says 6 rings, 6 for 6 bitches, then you're somebody who's gonna like perfect season, Don Shula, bam,
Yeah.
But
anyway, Kyle, it's fun.
I mean, if it was that fun, you make it happen more often. Damn,
that's a
fire
nuts. Jeez. So tell the folks what are you doing these days. Everything. We promote articles. Well, I don't know if you're writing much, but I know you do a lot of radio. I know.
Written since bowl games, my friend. I'll leave it at that.
Since January. December. Yeah.
Well, technically January. Anyways. So yeah, man, but I will be writing again soon when the time comes. Trust in that. But for now, all my projects have been radio and or media based away from writing. Of course, you know about Danny Thompson, me doing the thing on Beyond the Buzzer. Find that on our Facebook Live page in the meantime, while we're not on 98.5 The Wire, as the studios are still closed in accordance with state regulations for stay-at-home orders, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Check out my stuff on oldschool101.com, the Captain Company Morning Show, one of the oldest internet morning shows in the state of Florida, by the way.
Really?
Captain Chris Hill has mustered nearly 2,000 episodes. I'm pretty sure he's going to break 2,000 this year. He's like on flight 19, over 1,950, so like 2,000's coming. So, yeah, check that out, too. That's a good time. You want to get a little something in the morning. He just started actually going to work on Twitch so that Facebook would stop shutting down his feeds for stupid reasons because,
Facebook.
Algorithms and Facebook, right. Of course, hilarity by default's default assault. Listen, you know it well, EJ Christian. I know you come forward. Probably not as much as you want to, I know, but when you come, you always keep crawling back, you bitch. And and then, I got to give a shout, too. Like, dinner time was a thing, and it was fantastic. But the latest thing that I did that had a lot of fun, not called any of those things, I actually went on the Tokyo Smoke Show with our good friend, Tokyo Jameson.
How was that, by the way? How was that?
Oh, God, it was great. Like, the first piece that's out right now is him. He's calling it a dinner time finale. But, like, I mean, the premise of the show sounds silly. Like, he finds somebody else to smoke weed with them, and they talk about stuff. But hilarity ensues. I get it. In my case, since I don't partake, it happened to be on Taco Tuesday's edition of Cinco de Mayo, so I had my margarita, and we went to work. And we were rehashing stuff, not only rehashing stuff from dinner time, but saying deep stuff. And the return of Johnny Redwood is what you have right now. If you go on Spotify and check out the Tokyo Smoke Show, that's what you'll hear with me and him if you listen to the dinner time finale episode. So that's a good time too, man. He's doing good things and having fun with it. And we have a little project. I don't want to talk about it because it's not done yet, but I think you'll find it interesting, in particular as somebody who's a big fan of the ESPN 30 for 30.
Oh, okay. Hopefully we can we'll know soon about this project. Hopefully. How soon, but
keep you coming back, man. Exactly. I got to do something because apparently my sexy voice isn't enough for you. Apparently. I mean, listen,
we're going to correct that. We're back to the grind again. Like I said, one of the biggest challenges now for me going forward when we get back to normal, quote unquote normal. You know how we podcast daytime sometimes. Obviously I changed my schedule late last year, but even now with my kid not napping anymore, I'm stuck to doing nights now. It's like I stopped picking days that are the most consistent to do these things.
I mean, Tuesdays are open for me. I'm saying.
I may have something on Tuesdays with you every Tuesday to recap a week.
I mean, listen, it's not like the NFL week ends on Monday night, and that it's wildly convenient.
Look, if I could podcast every night, I'd do it. Honestly.
Well, yeah, but you also have a rather fine wife and some nice kids.
That's so right. Yeah, and those kids are making me lose my hair. By the way, I haven't shaved my head since early April. I was balding.
My hair in a damn ponytail. All right, I'm saying.
Are you serious?
Yeah. If my wife's stylist did not do a house call for us, like first of all, my wife had her checklist of questions to ask her to make sure it was safe for her to come in, so she did it all right.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if her stylist did not come in and do literally my entire family,
we got a problem.
I would have been sporting a ponytail.
Oh wow.
That's how long it was getting.
No pictures?
No, are you crazy? You think I want people to see like that?
Oh,
listen, the best part of Beyond the Buzzer when we started hitting Facebook Live was how we were talking trash on each other's hair. Like, first of all, he comes at me about my hair, and then I answer him about how he looks like, either Uncle Remus or the Junkyard Dog with his beard growing out.
I saw that.
All of the above. Oh, I knew you'd get it. If you saw that, of course, you'd get a WWE fan. Or actually, sorry, if it's Junkyard Dog, WWF.
Yeah.
But, I say all that. The irony is sponsored by Mentality Barbershop. I'm just saying.
You just saying? Well, like I said, we'll hopefully do another one of these in the next couple of weeks. Because we have to get back to the grind. I even told Roz and G that we have to get back to doing this thing regularly too. Off the bag for a bit, but we'll get back to it. I promise.
Hey, listen, if there's ever an opportunity to me to jump on a pod with Roz, all I'm going to say is this: I will get past my intimidation of talking with actual successful grinding individuals, and I will appear as charming and talk as much trash on you as possible.
Well, trash on G also too. G is still over the top. Good God, that kid.
I mean, I said it as an assumption, but like, here's what's funny: when he and I pod, like, he gets subdued because I think he's not afraid of it, but he knows I can ball back, so he picks his shots.
That's why he does it. He wants to be challenged. He wants that.
I mean, well, listen, I'll give him credit. When he does come on a pod with me, he does stay up past his 6 p.m. bedtime, so maybe he does want the challenge. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, maybe that is the case. So, anyway, Kyle, we'll talk soon. Enjoy your weekend, and sail to the family for me, of course.
Hey, you as well. Stay healthy, and of course, most importantly, my friend, over each and every other entire thing I could possibly want to say with you, class dismissed.